the word on the street is a new Diddy verdict just dropped. So we're going to check it out, find out what's going on with Diddy himself, the diddler.
So I don't think there's really any question. The loser today is Diddy. The jury has come back with unanimous verdicts on 4 of the 5 counts. They are hung up on racketeering, but they have reached verdicts on sex trafficking as it relates to Cassie, sex trafficking as it relates to Jane, the Mann Act as it relates to Cassie, and the Mann Act as it relates to Jane.
The question that everybody asked when this trial first started was, did he do it? And apparently he did. They came back with a definitive answer and said, yo, he did it. So we're going to find out what Diddy's sentence is going to be, but it sounds like they might be hung up only on the RICO, right? The racketeering.
Judge has sent the jury back and said, continue deliberating. They have now recessed for the day. They're coming back tomorrow. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you about why I believe this jury is probably going to come back tomorrow. And let me just first break down why I think this is bad news for Diddy. The Mann Act is easy. It is the transportation of a sex worker across state lines for commercial purposes, prostitution. I mean, I don't see how the prosecution did not prove that. And the fact that the jury came back this quickly, it tells me, look, I don't know, but it seems.
Not only did they have so many of these sex workers that were being trafficked back and forth across state lines, one of the guys is even doing interviews. He has an interview, the guy that they called the Punisher, he has an interview on Vlad TV. It was like 8 different people, 9 different people. They had them dudes pictured up there like the barbershop menu, you know, like 1 through 16, you can get any haircut that you want. That's how they had those workers that you know, they had in rotation.
It's like he's cooked on those 2. As for sex trafficking, we have to look at Cassie and Jane separately. To prove sex trafficking, you have to show that Diddy committed these acts using fraud, force, or coercion. It's interesting as to Cassie. The jury wanted to hear about a trip to Cannes. They wanted the transcript, and this is where Cassie and Diddy flew back from Cannes to New York. On the plane, Diddy showed Cassie a freak-off video that she was on, and he said, according to her, if you don't engage in a freak-off with me when we land in New York, I'm going to show this to your mother and release it publicly.
That's wild. That's wild. I can't co-sign nothing like that. I said in the beginning, and I still maintain, I think part of the stuff that she did, she was a willing participant. I can't believe that over the course of 11, 12-year relationship, 13-year relationship, that she had no say and never wanted to participate in anything. I just don't believe that. But do I also believe that there were some things that he was doing to coerce her, especially her being young? That's not to take away from her accountability or anything like that. But I do believe that Diddy was like using his money, his power, and his leverage. And eventually he was using blackmail to coerce Cassie into doing things that he wanted her to do. I believe that 100%. And it sounds like that's the conclusion the jury came to as well. But that's obvious. They heard more details than we did, and I came to that conclusion. So, of course, they got him on that one.
If the jury believes that, that's it. It's coercion. And it's interesting, they honed in on that during their deliberation. Now, they could go either way, but that was, I thought, all along, the most direct evidence of coercion, if you believe Cassie. And I think he's in trouble there. As to Jane, I think there's more of an issue of consent. And They did not ask for transcripts as to Jane. So I don't know. I think on the Mann Act, he's in big trouble. I think as to sex trafficking with respect to Cassie, he's in trouble. I don't know about Jane. But either.
I'm actually not too familiar with who Jane is. I know that I was in and out of details on the trial, so I'm not too familiar with her. But like I said, I don't think that he's getting tried, or I don't think he's going to be convicted of the RICO charges as far as like the arson and a couple of other things that they kidnapping, those things. But as far as the trafficking, or at least getting the sex workers across state lines, 100% he did that. Like I said, there's a guy that's going around doing interviews, talking about his experiences. So they got Diddy, man. I guess he should have took that plea deal. He gambled with his life, and it looks like he's about to be on the losing end of the stick. We know that he was looking up to, let me go ahead and make this big screen. We know that he was looking at up to life in prison. So we're going to find out what the final charges that he's going to be actually convicted of sooner than later. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, but this entire thing is coming to a close. And it sounds like, based on the last couple of days of the trial, that Diddy's attorneys thought that he was going to get off. They thought that he was going to get off. They didn't call anybody as a witness to the stand to defend Diddy. So they must have been like, oh, this is a slam dunk case. We're going to get off. And it doesn't seem that way now that we have, a little bit more information about how the trial went. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm going to come back and do another video once we had the final verdict. And Diddy did it 100%.